Hi, and welcome to Life Addictions, the Recovery Show. My name is John Lausch, and I'm a certified recovery specialist, and we're going to talk about life addictions, whether it's drugs, alcohol, food or nicotine, even sex and love, or criminal addiction. We're going to cover it here. Every week we have a very special guest, and this week is no exception. Jesse Fortner from the Foundation's Recovery Network is here via Skype from the great state of Tennessee. Jesse, welcome. Say hello and tell us a little bit about what it is you do.
Hey, John, thank you. Yes, we're very hot today. We're going to approach the mid-90s, and so around here everyone gets a little anxious about that. But I love living here. I've been here about 10 years, and with Foundation's Recovery Network, I've also been working with them for 10 years as the conference coordinator. And so basically we host national conferences for the behavioral health care treatment industry all around the country. We are currently hosting 2 events a year, usually West Coast and East Coast. And we have a conference coming up called Power, Fame, and Recovery. And it deals with anyone from a small town mayor who has a position of power all the way up to big name celebrities who have managers and PR staff and lots of responsibility, the media, and we are dealing with recovery. Our treatment centers, we have 4 of them, are all very, very high quality, excellent places for dual diagnosis care. And as a result of that, our conferences are also focused on promoting integrated treatment and what's current in dual diagnosis treatment. So we're very excited. It's going to be down in Palm Beach, Florida, at the wonderful hotel, The Breakers, which most people that know about us have been there, have experienced that hotel. We'll be there from the 26th of September until the 29th. So it's an actual 4-day event, and we'd love for everyone to get in touch with us and to come and be part of that national event. We have a lot of celebrities actually speaking at the conference. We do have Dr. Patrick Carnes as a speaker. We've got Jim Ramstad is speaking. Paul Williams, who's a famous musician, will be playing and speaking and telling his story.
Nice.
Christopher Kennedy Lawford is speaking. Robert Shapiro, the attorney that worked with O.J. Simpson, also Lindsay Lohan, Christian Brando, he's also presenting.
Now, Jesse,
so that's what I today on this call and take out.
Let me interrupt you for a second. I've been to one of your conferences at the Breakers last year. I think it was the Intervention Conference, and you were a very very gracious guest. The conference is one of the highest conferences of quality I've been to. This new conference, Power, Fame, and Recovery, September 26th to the 29th. We have about 30 to 40,000 viewers around the country, and some of those viewers very well might be in high positions of, like you said, mayors or, those people that want to keep their celebrity status to a certain point covered. How do you, what are some of the techniques or some of the strategies you use there at Foundations to keep their anonymity from getting out?
Well, that's actually the very meat of the conference itself. So each presentation, without getting into really, really specific detail, we've got things like addiction and celebrity struggling to get sober in the public eye. That's one talk out of 36 different presentations that you can experience.
Yeah.
Shifting the paradigm, using experiential therapies to treat high-profile clients. What lies beneath, understanding the eating disorders, trauma, we've got Susan Blank talks about how do you drug test at that high level. If you're a powerful person of that's famous, and you don't want to be is about delving into that. In general, our philosophy as a treatment center is we have to respect a client's confidentiality and privacy. And so we have places like the Canyon in Malibu that treats extremely high-end, successful patients, and they do not want anyone to know that they're in treatment. And so it's a constant process.
Yeah.
It's hard to be perfect about it because eventually information leaks out, and there are definitely media persons that will find out. But essentially, the more we protect that environment and provide just a really awesome, dedicated program to dual diagnosis recovery, then we avoid that kind of thing. And that's just us as one treatment center. But we pretty much, John, have invited and have partnered with many, many, many treatment programs to put this event on. Like Music Cares is our partner. Music Cares works with
musicians
on the nonprofit side of the Grammys. Music Cares will take somebody who's very successful. They're on the road, they're performing, but they need help, right? They need treatment, they need rehab, and they'll take that person and they'll guide them into finding the right treatment place for them. Maybe they're on tour, and they need to go into a program while they're on tour. So that's our actual partner. And then we also work with Alina Lodge, Pine Grove, CRC Health Group, Illinois Institute for Addiction Recovery, The Refuge, Karen, Callaway Labs, and The Recovery Place. Those are all of our co-hosts.
Jesse, we talk a lot about on the show those celebrities that we see in the news, and they're probably always the same 6 or 7, whether it's Lindsay Lohan, Sheen, Robert Downey Jr., and we actually like that they're out there because we believe that they represent thousands of people that aren't celebrities that are going through the same things. But, and I'm sure you know this, there's many other celebrities, people in high positions that go through addictions that we never hear of. And I'm sure you're working out foundations, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's a good thing when those that are famous do come out and help spread the word, like Paul Williams, a famous guy that's telling his story, and many other ones that have recovered, and they're not in the news every 6 months, 2 years. So it's very successful, the recovery rate for some high-profile celebrities. Tell us a little bit about that and your work there at Foundations. Can you hear me?
You there? I lost the last part of the question.
Oh yeah, I was asking you
the recovery.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your success rate with those high-profile clients, because we always seem to hear about the ones that are always relapsing.
Right. Well, our main keynote speakers powerful and famous who can't get it right. Robert Shapiro, his son, was in recovery, and he lost his son.
Yeah.
I believe this is correct. And so his story is about his, being a parent and being a family member and having that disease take part of his life. Everyone knows Christopher Kennedy Lawford in our business, obviously part of the famous Kennedy family. He's got an awesome story over 20 years, 25 years of recovery and dealing with a lot of, high-profile work that he does. He's an attorney, he's an author, he's an activist. Pretty much everyone knows Dr. Patrick Carnes in our field. I mean, he's started the Gentle Path program. He's an incredible doctor. He's worked recently with a famous golfer to make sure that some of those people that are have multiple issues going on that they can succeed in recovery. So he's a certified sex addiction therapist. And then Jim Ramstad was one of the people that originally advocated for mental health parity in Congress, and in 2008 passed the law, which was the Addiction Treatment Parity Act. he was named Legislator of the Year. So see, these are actually folks that are doing something and making a difference. And then, of course, Paul Williams, who does a lot of events around the country. He wrote We've Only Just Begun, Rainy Days and Mondays, Old Fashioned Love Song, Three Dog Night. You know, Paul Williams is an incredible musician, and hence his personal testimony, he's been sober 20 years. Mm-hmm. So really it's about, like, this conference is not kind of, let's invite people that are flopping around, I would say, so to speak, and not getting it, but really the ones who are understanding how to combine their life on the high-profile stage with also reflecting the principles of recovery, whether it's 12-step recovery or whatever program that they're working, you know.
That's my point exactly. There's a lot of famous people out there, a lot of celebrities, a lot of people in high-profile positions that have successfully recovered from, whether it's drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and we really don't hear about them, and they're doing a lot of good work behind the scenes. I really wish we could hear more about them, and I'm glad you guys have highlighted them in this conference. Power, Fame, and Recovery 2011 is going to be at the Breakers September 26th through the 29th here in South Florida. On the phone, we have a very special guest, Jesse Fortner from the Foundation Recovery Center. Jesse, it's a pleasure to speak with you. We've got plenty of time left. I want to talk a little bit more about Foundations and the network you guys have. It's really a national organization, and you must be very pleased to work there. I know you've been there for around 10 years. Tell us a little bit about what states you're in and how our viewers can contact you guys, and tell us some more about that.
Well, we have our humble roots is actually here in Tennessee. Uh-huh. We began in 1995 with a series of residential model houses. And, you know, truthfully, I'm actually a graduate. So about 10 years ago, I went through the program back when we just had, you know, a few houses. And it was, that mine was in 2000, you know, the end of 2000. So, it was a social model type system. You know, everyone had to kind of do chores and follow each other's pathway and attend meetings, and eventually, so there's an independent living phase back then. Well, we were nonprofit, and eventually Foundations, which was back then Foundations Associates, and now our name is Recovery Network. So the Foundations Recovery Network does about I think 4 or 5 years ago, and then that's when we acquired other facilities, and then we shut down our operation in Nashville, Tennessee, but kept our headquarters here in Brentwood, which is very close to Nashville. It's 20 minutes away. So all of our managers, all of our IT department, our call center is located in Brentwood. But our facilities are other cities. We have 4 facilities. We'll start off close by in Memphis, which is La Paloma. It means the dove. It's a mid-price facility. There's a eventually there'll be 100 beds in Memphis, over 100 beds. Then we go to Palm Springs, which is Michael's house. Michael's house is about the same mid-price range as Memphis, but very, very just nice, and the environment out there is, you know, amazing. I mean, it's Palm Springs. It's gorgeous. All of the facilities are gorgeous, but Palm Springs, a lot of people can go there with their insurance, because we take insurance both in Memphis and in Palm Springs, and they can go to treatment out there if they want. Like, even if they live in Tennessee or wherever close by, they can still go to Palm Springs. That's called Michael's house. There's men and women on all the facilities. They're all co-ed. You know, there's different places they can live if for men or women. Then we go to the Malibu, which is called the Canyon. The Canyon is our deluxe high price point facility, very private and secluded. It's down within an actual canyon in remote Malibu. And it's just an incredible place. It's been blessed by the Dalai Lama. He's visited there. Like, there's a lot of different spiritual pathways at the Canyon that someone who needs this. Perfect example is for this conference. Maybe someone that's a little bit more affluent or comes from a background where they have that, they're used to things. The beds there's only like a few beds. It's very small. I think the total bed there are 16, as opposed to where, like in Michael's house, there's 50 beds, and like I said, in Memphis there's like 60 or 70 beds. So if anyone has questions, they can always call our call center. I work nearby the call center, but I do know all the specifics day to day. It always changes, and we do stay very full. But the call center's number is 877-345-3216. It's 877-345-3216. Or it's on our website, which is foundationsrecovery.com. So on foundationsrecovery.com, we do have many different numbers that ring to the same call center. And then finally, in Atlanta, Georgia, we have a really nice high-end outpatient center in Roswell, and that's a place that's just wonderful for professionals, lawyers, people that are just needing to work during the day or the evening on their recovery issues on dual diagnosis. And then that place is amazing. Atlanta is that's our newest location. But even that's 2 or 3 years old at this point. So we've got 4 locations right now. 3 of them are residential inpatient, and then
well, for our viewers that are watching, let me just recap a little bit of what Jesse just said. If you're watching and you have a family member, if you know somebody, maybe a coworker, a friend, the Foundations, the Canyon, La Paloma, Michael's house, and their outpatient center in Atlanta, large variety of places to choose from. You've got the number 877-345-3216. Call them at the Foundations if you know somebody, if you have a family member, if somebody is struggling with addiction. If you're watching and you're a high-profile mayor, if you don't want to be, they've got the best recovery centers probably that I know of in the country. Jesse, I always ask this question of our guests, and you've been in the recovery field for 10 years. How do you get a person to stop using and abusing drugs? What would you say to that?
Well, from personal experience, I was in and out of rehabs, so I know what that's like. And I think that the main thing is that someone keeps coming back, and the seeds are planted. And I think with enough seeds and in the right program, I had been to rehab 7 times, and I had been to the mental hospital program 6 times. So when I discovered Foundations and I was exposed to that, 11 years ago, it was just the right time. But also I had all these other experiences, that the fact that I knew there was a program that it could work. And so I think that just the repeating of it, sometimes I think that with addicts, the disease will allow someone to forget and to, just go back to their using ways, but that doesn't mean to give up on them. The other thing, John, is that Foundations does a lot of research, and so we have found that we've got an 85 is part of it, to take a treatment and to treat both illnesses like they're the same thing, and it's integrated, and it's on the same Axis 1 disease model from the DSM-4. We're talking about, we're treating it like it's the same person has one. Our philosophy now is we do integrated treatment, integrated holistic treatment for addiction and mental health disorders. That's our actual motto, one of our mission statements. And so that's the other part of it, is to have the right program. And we don't say that we're the only program, and facilities around the country. We're very much aligned, like those same phone calls that need help, people that have the resources, and we'll say, well, here, you can call Life Addictions down in Florida, or you can call, if we can't help you, we'll give someone else to call.
Jesse, I want to interrupt you there. We've got 5 minutes left. Jesse's via Skype, as you can tell. It's we're having a little trouble with the connection, but it's coming through. Jesse Fortner is with the Foundations Recovery Network, and he's got a great conference coming up, the Foundations at the Breakers in South Florida. Again, it's September 26th through the 29th. If you're a viewer, if you're watching, and if you're in the South Florida area, or if you want to make a trip here, people come from all over the world to go to these foundation conferences. Trust me, I've been there. I want to give a plug to one of our sponsors. Life Addictions Recovery Program offers the Recovery Pod. It's an MP3 type player. It's already downloaded with audio. You just turn it on, hit play, multitask with it, walk around with it. It reinforces those things that cause us to forget about, our addiction. So if you want something that is repetitive over and over again, it's a specific model for somebody to recover. Take it with you 24/7. Sometimes you're not going to be in session with your counselor. Sometimes you're not going to be in a 12-step meeting, or you're going to have those thoughts of wanting to use and those things. This recovery pod offers you a clear voice to reinforce those things that help you not use and keep you focused on your recovery. It's available by calling 717-991-4755. Again, that's 717-991-4755. It's called the Recovery Pod. Many places use it around the country. Jesse, have you tried the Recovery Pod yet?
I did. I got it when we met at the last conference at the Breakers. So I can't say that I had a lot of time to get into it, but now that we're talking about it again, I would love to. I kept it, and I thought it was an awesome idea. So I need to go check it out some more. And I know that meeting you personally, I believed in your product right away. I thought it looked like an amazing thing. I think at the time, I assumed that
Again, we are on Skype and there is some delay. I apologize for that. Jesse, we are going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show. We want to reach out to you one more time. Give the folks some more contact information again, and let them know. Is this conference open to the public as well?
Absolutely. Yeah, all of our events are open to the public, and we even, there's so many really exciting things about it, John. For the first 50 people who register, the Breakers gives a very, very deep discount on the hotel room, and there's still spots on that area. So this is not sponsors and exhibitors. This is just for individual people that register themselves for the conference. The cost of the entire 4 days, which is lots of foods included, a lot of entertainment. There's 3 concert nights. There are meals included. There's really healthy snack breaks. All of it. Breakfast every day is included. The cost of that whole thing is $449 right now, until a month out from the conference. So right about August 26th, it goes up to $499. Now, those people that pay that can get their room at the Breakers for $165, whereas the usual rate at the Breakers, usually it's in the $400 or $500s, but the usual conference rate right now is $245, I think. So $245 is what anyone would pay for a night, but if they register now, and at the first 50, they get $165. All of this is on our website, which is foundationsevents.com. So we have one overall umbrella for Foundations. website, which is foundationsrecovery.com. Then within that, there's a foundationsevents.com section, and there's a section for about everything. So for the conference, all they have to remember is foundations with an S, events with an S, plural, .com. Or they can call me at 877-345-3360. That's 877-345-3360. We offer scholarships for folks who cannot afford the conference. It's open to recovery community. It's open to NAAA. It's open to really anybody. We obviously a lot of professionals will be there: doctors, nurses.
Jesse, I got to stop you right there. We're out of time. I want to thank you for being my guest. I am going to help.
These are all of our speakers that are presenting in the work.
Jesse, I'm going to help spread the word out for everybody here in South Florida to attend your conference. And hopefully I'll get a chance to see you when you're in town. Thank you so much for being my guest. And thank you.